This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats.
What is up, y'all? What is up? It is I, once again, Double K here, or actually K Double, whatever you want to call me, I don't care. Double K Double, and I am here as your host of the Cheap Pop Podcast with these two gentlemen that are above me, the one and only Corin.
Yeah, I forgot to change from my D&D game.
Oh, Rune Scryer, and then the one and only Saint, host of Now Versus Then that you probably saw earlier today. Now, for the first time ever, we are broadcasting to 3 different channels simultaneously, and we'll be moving forward. You can find us at the First GenXers YouTube site, or YouTube page. You can find us at the Double KK Double Network YouTube page, and you can also find us at twitch.tv. So you can follow us at all 3 and get 800 notifications to your phone when we go on air.
Yeah, we'll lose people at that point.
But all right, so let's kick off talking about this. It was going to be one subject, but thanks to the keen eye of Rune Scryer, it is now a different subject. What we are going to be discussing right now is a AI trailer that was posted on YouTube of Spider-Man 4. Brand new day, or whatever they call it. It was an interesting trailer. Once you watch it, of course, you can begin to tell that it's AI immediately. But this brings up a bigger problem that Dave was speaking of, about what YouTube's attempting to do to stop things like this.
YouTube, because of the proliferation of AI trailers. I mean, Spider-Man 4 ain't even in production yet.
Yeah.
Okay, and the trailer's out already? No. But because of the explosion, little Porky Pig moment there, the explosion of AI trailers on YouTube is banning all trailer reviewers, or they're all trailer reviews from their channel. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's huge, considering that's like a huge portion of their content creators, or people
Now,
doing reviews
trailers
of movies
can
and
still
trailers.
go up, but reviewers are not able to monetize their reviews of trailers anymore.
Is that a win or a loss? Like, I know it's a loss for content creators, obviously. Like I said, there's views and money to be made in reviewing things and whatever's popular in the moment. But how do you feel that affects? Like is it YouTube protecting itself from somebody maybe giving a review on a fake trailer?
Probably because we're talking about major Hollywood studios, and um, now that the horses are out of the barn and are 10 miles down the road, everyone's kind of starting to address why disinformation on social media is such a bad thing.
Yeah.
It gets into there's an old quote. I can't remember which writer said it, but um, they said a lie travels all the way around the world before the truth even gets out of the starting gate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You think of.
So
We're all
yeah,
old enough to remember the game telephone.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you sit with 15 kids in a straight line. You say one thing for those of you who may not be old enough to remember what this game was. It was a game where basically you took a group of kids, 10, 15. Basically, it was a way to get 15, 20 kids to sit their ass down and shut up all at the same time. Let's be real. That's really what it was.
yep, yep,
But
Yeah.
they would have 10, 50. They would have the whole class sit side by side or in a circle, and then the teacher would speak or would say one thing into the ear of one kid, and it had to be passed forward and around, and then the
yeah,
last kid had to say out loud what was said to them.
yeah.
And what, like 90% of the time, it was always something. Every now and then, you might get somebody it was close, but in
Hmm.
general, most of the time, it was so far off of what the original person said.
Right, because it had to be whispered
Yeah,
into the next person's ear down the line.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah,
it,
it's
it's kind of a similar
that's
effect.
yep, that's where we are at with the continually evolving questions surrounding AI and
Well, let me.
generated
Well,
content.
yeah. Let me. I need to weigh in on something here
Go
when
for it.
when it comes to these AI trailers. Okay, it's like this. Like, number one, especially if you're looking at, if you're looking at trade sheets, or if you're looking deep enough to know where you get this information from with these Hollywood studios or anything like that, or official websites, that's what you go to when people come out and do these Spider-Man 4 trailers, or the kind of stuff. Like, the untrained eye automatically believes it. Like, because next thing you know, they'll be talking about, yeah, I saw the Spider-Man trailer, man. Like, that shit was crazy, man. That shit was mad crazy, man. And then you're like, when did I see this? Because
Yeah,
what happened? Like,
yeah,
what was it made? Was it an official statement made that
Yeah,
was Marvel, that was somebody, giving the secret sauce out, or telling
yeah.
people, hey, we're only sending trailers to a few people? Like, I need
I'm
answers.
going to, I'm going to, I'm gonna put in a devil's advocate argument to this. Of course, as content creators, like, I'm not huge on AI, but I do believe that
I am
AI,
definitely not huge on
I
AI
but
when it
but
Yeah.
comes
I
to
but
that.
I do believe that AI can be used as a tool. And here's in this regards, not necessarily AI being used as a tool, but the movie studios using these situations to their advantage. Because to an extent, market research is everything when it comes to a movie. Trying to find out how popular you think the movie is going to be before you make the movie, or before you put the movie out, is huge
Right.
at the studio level. They can use these AI trailers as a gauge to the interest in the movie itself. And I'm not saying they should generate them and drop them out there themselves. I'm just saying that it can be used as a tool to gain interest. Because if a Spider-Man 4 trailer that's AI and that's fake does 5 million views in the first 48 hours, you've got a pretty good idea that people are going to want to see this movie.
Yeah.
And it's just an early marketing mechanism that can be used. That it's just a devil's advocate way. I understand AI bad. Like, I just think that AI can. There are ways that I think as long as AI is kept to certain constraints, AI can be used to enhance things
Right.
and make them better or you know or something along those lines. Because I think about I bring this up because I think about my prime example of the early trailer that dropped of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Hmm.
If that would have been our end result Sonic, there would be no Sonic 3 right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was their ability to be able to put that trailer out there, get the negative feedback that they got, and then adjust the actual product to what the feedback was giving them that created such a great product when it came to the Sonic movies.
Yeah.
And now you have Sonic 3. Me and my daughter just watched that one. That one was amazing. So I think that and that wasn't AI, but I'm just saying that was an example of something leaking early, but it ended up being a good thing. Because again, had we gotten maybe if we had gotten a early trailer of Avatar: The Last Airbender from M. Night Shyamalan, he could have changed some shit.
Yeah.
Nah,
But
he would have kept it the same way.
Yeah. Same thing with Ryan Reynolds leaking the Deadpool footage. That
Yeah.
got Deadpool as a project rolling.
Rolling, yep. And that's why I say, like, I get where people are saying, like I said, I get what people's, because like my daughter does that. Anytime I show her anything made with AI, a logo or anything like that, she's like, oh my god, AI, oh, and I'm like, AI is bad when it starts thinking for itself. That's when you start.
It's also bad when it replaces
Yes,
human labor and human creativity.
right. And that's where I say that if you want to beat that system, because AI is coming, be an artist that knows how to use AI to their advantage. You know what I'm saying? To enhance their product
Oh,
and still keep their creativity.
I'm
No.
pre-registered to join the Butlerian Jihad. Okay, so
No, no. Because
Well,
here,
go ahead.
because that's kind of and like in terms of comics, when we
Okay.
draw, we're drawing comics. You have guys out there that are still, doing this great art and making it happen,
yeah,
and you know, keeping that, to
Okay.
me, that is still pure
But
because
what if the
I'm
art is
still
still?
in that.
What if the art
I-
is? What if the art is still the artist? It's just enhanced by AI. Meaning the artist themselves feeds it to a program that just enhances it, adds amazing dynamic shading and like that per the instruction of the artist.
That's what inkers and colorists are for.
yes,
I'm
yes,
I'm just
sorry.
saying, like,
I can't get, because anything with AI when it comes to the comic book industry, as far as I'm concerned, that takes away from the middleman. I mean, from the little man, because you have the writer, you have
okay,
the pencil, you have
but
the
does
inker,
it
you
take
have
away
the
from the little
colorist, and
man
you
when you
have the
now have
editor.
when you have one person who can now do all of those things with the help of AI?
yes.
Does it?
Does.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah,
It
it
takes
Because
away from them.
does.
It takes away from them. But what if that one person by themselves could not afford to pay all those people?
I yes,
Then
we
you
know
need
that.
to get the fuck out the business,
Now,
because
see, and
if you
that's where I say
if you can't.
it's a fine line that you walk because at the end of the day, again, AI can be used as a tool that can help get art out to more people than it would had that person just drawn their book and they can't afford to pay anybody and their art's gonna go nowhere other than their
then
sketchbook.
then
And so I'm not saying
that's
I'm not advocating for the use of it. I'm just saying there's a good and a bad to it. I agree that yes, it does take away jobs, but sometimes it takes away jobs that were never there in the first place because the person that's using it could never have afforded to pay those people to do those jobs.
then
No,
people should be in a wrong business, because my thing is that yes, the
Not
comic book industry is a business nevertheless, but the thing about it is that if you have a great story
There are
written
tons
by
of great
great
stories laying on
people.
tables right now because the
Yes,
person
yeah,
can't
true,
afford to get
true,
can't afford to get
true,
them drawn,
true,
can't afford to get them
true,
published,
but
can't afford to get them edited, like in
true,
color,
but
inked in
who's
color.
gonna use, but the simple fact, who's gonna want to use AI
I'm
if,
not saying
you
they
know,
should. I'm just saying I can't
because
damn them
every
if they did.
to me, every single part, when it comes to a comic book, when it comes to a comic book project, are with human hands. That's the way it should always be,
Not
with a
really.
colorist and inker. I do.
That's not with human hands when you're using a computer to do it. Like back in the day,
no.
yes, when there was actually an inker who sat there and inked it and a colorist who now most people use Adobe Photoshop.
Okay,
Like that's
Yeah,
not
okay,
but
human hands.
but you
Yes, it's
use,
still a human mind
but you
processing
still,
everything, but that's still
but you
using a
still
computer
use,
to do it.
but you still, okay, you're using the computer to do it, but at the same time, you're inking it in with an with on the computer. You know what
and
I'm saying? And
you,
doing that.
yeah, and there are options. I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
Kev, but
Just
it's
playing devil's advocate, really.
no, I
Yeah,
understand,
yeah, no, I get
but
it.
it's a it is the classic nerd dilemma of no girls are interested in what I do. They don't like the stuff that I like. And so I'm just going to be angry at the world. It's like, no.
Yeah.
The truth is that there are girls that like what you like, that
Yeah.
can do that can get into what you want or have interest in. You're just not attracted to them.
Yeah.
And my point being that there are hundreds, thousands of artists out there
Yeah.
right now who are willing to do comics for you for a reasonable or even cheap rate or something that could be negotiated like that. They're just not Alex Ross, Jim Lee,
Right. They're not
Rob
the best of
Liefeld,
the best.
except they're
Yeah.
not so, and that's where you gotta start small. When you
Right.
start small and build and you create the foundation, there's a lot of comic books out there right now that I think the art is kind of crap and it's just not appealing to me. I've always been a story guy over
Yeah.
art, but
Over visual.
it's just like, yeah.
My thing is this:
So, yeah,
is could I argue, or could I have an issue with if I was to see a scenario in which an artist used AI for these jobs because for the reason that I gave that they could not afford it, and their comic turned out to be successful. People liked the story. It went somewhere. Now, here's where I throw the curveball at you. After publishing, say, the first three issues, they now go out and pay an artist. They now go out and pay an inker. They now go out and pay a colorist. They now go out and pay, you know what I'm saying? They now already have their distribution in place. You know what I'm saying? Because they've published and distributed. They now already have their publisher and their distribution in place because they've already distributed or published and distributed the first two issues using AI to fill those roles. Now, to me, again, this is just an example of a way that AI is used more as a tool and less as the defining factor in what makes it and what makes the product successful. If it
I
gets a good story out there, I wouldn't have an issue with this. But I
I
know there are a
I
lot who would just run up, fire torches in hand, AI bad,
yeah,
and it's like, but
and
it led to it them using AI led to them getting their story out there, which led to them making enough money to be able to hire people and give them these jobs.
but the thing is that we are already seeing that on social media,
Okay.
where
Hmm.
about 75% of the Kickstarters for new RPGs or 5e supplements or whatever use AI art. And the RPG community is not having it. not because there's anything wrong with the book, but because of how abusive Hasbro has been with AI.
Okay. Okay, and
And
that's
that's
the readers, writers, or that's the readers and customers option
right.
to
Yeah,
take issue with that. You see what I'm
right,
saying? But
right.
what I'm fighting back against is just the overall narrative of AI bad. Like, no, AI has its
I
uses
I see
if
where you're
properly
yeah,
used. If
yeah.
properly used with the proper respect, AI has its uses to be able to create, to be able to help. I have used templates to create ideas for logos, for posters, etc. That could be a form of stealing somebody's particular look, feel, etc. The logo behind me was made with a template. You know what I'm saying? Of a similar looking thing. It didn't say what it said, change what it said, add some things to make it my own. Bam, got a new logo. I see and I see AI use as similar to template use if used properly. And that is AI can inspire the idea, but it's up to the human to bring it home. It's up to the human to bring it across the finish line.
And
Well,
my last thing is that until somebody up in the C-suite
Yeah,
demands that we now have AI that fills in its prompts automatically,
yeah,
where it looks at the social media, it follows the trends, it looks, and then it creates stuff from whole cloth based on all of that.
yeah.
Because that's completely removing humans out of the production
Process.
process.
And the
Okay.
sad thing about it is in order to change that inevitability, you have to change something that is I don't want to say unchangeable, but extremely difficult to change. And that
You
is to
okay,
have
show
to
so
it,
have, go ahead.
and that's
Go,
the
well,
capitalist nature to make a profit.
right.
As
well, let
long
me.
as as long as we have a capitalist nature to make a profit, there's going to be a way to look to eliminate the human factor because
Yeah,
humans want to be paid and they want to be paid a fair wage. And they
yeah,
always are going to, that's never going to change. So if you can find a way to get it done cheaper with devices or programs that will get it done almost as effectively. Now it falls on the consumer, like you were saying, Dave, to
yes,
reject that
yes.
and say no, I won't interact with that. No, I won't give you profit off of that. Use real humans. But as long as there's a population of people that will accept it, that will consume it, that will take it in regardless.
Hmm.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Um, so now you said the logo behind you that was created. What was that primarily AI
No. It was created from a template. I was
or
comparing the
template?
use of templates
Oh, okay.
to using AI. Like AI can present you with an idea, and then you expound
Yeah,
upon it the same way that we use
yeah.
templates in logo creation, poster creation. We use templates to start out with, and then we
Yeah.
make the poster our own.
Because I mean, I can't remember how this particular logo behind me has been created because I think this one is now well over 16 years old, and I mean, it still looks as fresh as as it always has, but
Hmm.
like, the difference, with this particular logo and any other particular logo that's created now is just, I guess it's sharper in these
Yeah.
days or whatever because of, JPGs and
Well, there's more
MP4s and
dynamic
all that
stuff
other
that
kind
you
of
can do.
stuff.
Like I could have made this a moving logo.
Yeah,
Right,
Like I could have made it an animated logo. Like with a click of a button, I could have made it an
right,
animated logo.
right.
But I chose to just stick with what it is. But that's what I'm saying. Like programs like Canva give you the ability to take a template, make it your own. And to me, I don't understand how that is acceptable. But if I were to use AI to create a logo, it's not. And that's where it blows. That's where I was making that comparison between the two of using a template to create something versus using AI to create it or
Right.
using AI to create the template. But all right, fellas. So
Yeah.
so we'll break it down there, and we won't get any deeper down the rabbit hole on that one on them.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're gonna jump into our favorite segment, which is the first segment, and that's right, your favorite pop culture corner. All right. So
Oh
let's
no,
go
no,
with
no extra fanfare. What?
no,
No.
not today, not
Pop
today.
culture.
Why don't we work out? Why don't we start out with eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Dave?
Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff to talk about for Pop Culture Corner,
Let's do
and I'm coming in hot and hard with Image Comics. They have recently started for their GI Joe Real American Hero comics line um, a multi-arc story called Silent Interlude, which is basically no dialogue, just all action.
Okay.
No talkie, all action. So that was G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 21.
Okay.
And the first spin-off, which is coming out on the 23rd of April, it's everyone's favorite heavy machine gunner that talks like Ali and uh, cooks like Batali. Roadblock getting his own solo issue. Bringing
The
that
GI Joe
back.
comic.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Respect for the man.
Uh,
So yeah, that's on the
Roadblock.
That's on the 23rd.
yeah.
And I know you guys remember those fat rhymes he used to lay down, kicking Cobra's ass. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
like going to work, and and granted, I'm sorry, I was in high school, okay,
Hmm.
but at that time, but GI Joe was my afternoons, and when
Oh
Roadblock
yeah.
was laying the smack down with his, with his rhymes, and especially when he kicked it, when he was kicking ass with Snake Eyes. Oh yeah, that was always the mission.
Yep.
I'll put it
That
to
was
you like
always the
this:
mission.
I watched Darkwing Duck well into my early 20s,
Hmm.
and I consistently watched Yu-Gi-Oh well into my early 30s. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's get dangerous.
Yep. So
Uh,
all right. Next up, the British Film Institute on their Film on Film Festival on 12th of June is going to be screening the original 1977 Star Wars. No, no A New Hope, no special edition. This is Han shot first.
okay.
So, yes, George, we've seen through the lie that the film stock doesn't exist anymore. We've known that you've had the film stock.
Han shot
Okay.
first.
Yeah, we've listened. We've ran that
Truth will be
argument for
revealed.
years.
Han had to.
Han shot first.
Right.
If Han didn't, Han wouldn't be in the rest of the movie.
Yep. So, yeah. So that's coming for anyone across the pond or anyone who can thinking of going to England in June. Check it out if you can.
There you go.
The original,
right.
man, the original print.
Yep.
That's nice, man. Without the extra special effects and
Yep.
the the explosions with the big ass ring around it, like that. That there always was always disturbing for me
Yep.
when the ring, like when it was Star Wars. I mean, when it became Return of the Jedi, I get it, but when they redid it, the special edition of A New Hope, and you
Mhm.
had that extra ring around it, like, what the fuck happened?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Moving on.
Hmm.
Well, Hollywood's out of ideas again. So Amazon has greenlit a TV series of Carrie, Stephen King's first novel.
Like the little
The
girl that
classic.
burned down the school because they dumped blood on her at the prom.
Yep.
That Carrie.
Wait.
They're gonna do a TV show about that.
Yes.
Wait.
Like we need to know more about Carrie.
Yeah, wait. You had one in 1976, which is the
Mhm.
original.
Yep.
Then you
Good.
had one in 2002,
2013.
in 2013, and
Which
then there
was
was a
fantastic
sequel,
also. Yeah.
which has a sequel.
hmm
Now you want to do a TV show?
Oh, the fuckery cuts deeper than that, my friend. Okay. This will be, by all counts, the fifth remake of Carrie.
The book was
Somebody
fine
must
how it
destroy
is.
this IP.
The book was
Somebody
fine
must
how it is.
destroy the IP.
It's right, exactly. I mean, you've got two solid adaptations with nothing wrong with them. There's nothing more you can do
No,
except,
no. I'm
you know,
sorry. Sissy Spacek, John Travolta, William Catt,
yeah,
Amy Irving.
And
That's the version, and I'm sticking with it.
this is gonna be very non-controversial what I'm about to say. Okay,
yeah,
The
but
hand sticking out of the grave. That's
it kind of
fucking classic.
reminds me of the Friday the 13th series.
yep,
By the time you get to Jason in space, like it had completely gone off the rails.
yep,
Like it was one of those things where same thing with Michael Myers.
mhm,
Okay, these characters should have been killed off in the late 80s and left alone after that. Freddy Krueger even. Love Freddy. After the
Yep.
first three Nightmare on Elm Street movies, we don't really need anymore. And
exactly.
Wes Craven wasn't even a part of the second or third one.
Yep,
He didn't come back till New Nightmare.
yep.
So
Halloween,
Halloween, like, stop while you're ahead. And right now, you're not really that far ahead because the remakes weren't excellent. You know,
Yep.
like you weren't. Just leave it alone. Leave Stephen King show. Do something else. God damn
yep,
it. Do something else.
yep.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So go on, Dave.
All right, next up, Apple TV just dropped their trailer for the Murderbot series, which has been a book series that just exploded onto the sci-fi scene in the past few
Okay.
years. It's about a security robot who basically achieves self-consciousness and just wants to be left alone to watch his crappy interstellar telenovela soap operas and ponder his existence. Um, so Alexander Skarsgård will be playing the Murderbot in question.
Okay.
10 episodes, and they're going to start up on Apple TV Plus on May 16th.
All right.
Yep.
Still not a reason for me to get Apple TV, but
Yeah.
sounds
But
delicious.
it is, well, watch the trailer because it's pretty,
Looks pretty good.
pretty good, yeah. Yeah, where, Murderbot also has to hide his free will while he's on assignment.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So,
so,
all right.
right.
I'm gonna pause you
Um,
right there, sir, because we forgot
yep.
about something when we started all of this.
Go.
There was a new episode of Daredevil this week, was there not?
Yes, there is.
We need answers.
We do need answers.
Yeah,
and
we
have,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
So-
we
tell you what, let me just give this last pop culture, and then we can go on to Daredevil. Okay? So, anyone from the UK that's of a Gen X age will remember a very frightening film that the BBC put out called Threads.
Jesus
Which-
Christ, dude, really?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Threads.
I remember
Is
Threads.
that like the app, like the app that connects with Instagram, right?
No,
No,
No.
no,
Oh
that's
no.
damn.
This
that's
this
that's
was
the movie about slow death from nuclear war.
Oh
let me
wow.
ask you. Let
We
me
had a
ask
movie
you.
like that over here too, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was called The Day After.
yeah,
This
Yeah.
was yeah, that was a
Yeah. I
movie.
remember that.
That was a movie that that was the quietest
yeah,
13 minutes in television history.
yep.
Seriously,
It
like
gave me
that shit,
nightmares.
I will never, ever forget that. But
Well, you, yep.
Yeah.
Threads went a little deeper, and
We're
that
talking,
shit was
yeah,
like,
Like Red House Fault.
no, no, like, bro,
no,
like,
like
that was a total mind
skin
fuck,
peeling off,
okay?
slowing off. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, really,
yeah,
really complex. Anyway,
that's some
speaking of
fuckery.
speaking of remakes, Threads is going to be remade and coming to Netflix
Why?
Why?
to terrorize a whole new generation. That's
like we
literally
get
what the
it.
producers said. That's literally what the producers said. They
We
want to give
get
a
it.
whole new
Nuclear war
generation
bad.
nightmares. Yeah.
Okay, listen, let me just say something.
What's that?
You know, when you put these movies out to scare little kids into a reality and be like, da 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 da, whatever, because you know that stuff, like, you know, you have stuff that scares you, like the second coming of Christ, okay? Like that scary stuff, and the rapture, and the mark of the beast getting imprinted on your hand or your wrist. You understand what I'm saying? And then you get nuclear war. You know what I'm saying? You have a happy-go-lucky. You know, you have a family that's in crisis, and then the bomb drops, and then all of a sudden, you know, life changes. And that's the same thing with Threads. But I seriously don't think that nothing scares this generation.
I
I,
don't think
I
it'll
Because
scare them. It's just disgusting.
yeah.
Like the after effects of nuclear fallout and what it does to
Mhm.
the human population is just plain disgusting.
Right.
I don't think
I
their
think
stomachs will be able to handle it. Their
I
soft
think that
vegan stomachs. Sorry.
I think that
that's
I,
fucked up,
I
bro.
think what's going to hit the young generation is wait, all social media is gone. They're not going to be
Oh,
able
bye bye,
to,
internet.
yeah, to tweet or text or do anything.
Those
TikTok and
movies, go ahead. Those movies had me growing up saying shit like, if the bomb's ever coming, I'm running towards it instead of away from it. Because the closer
yep,
you get to it, the quicker you're incinerated. Because I don't want none of that fallout bullshit, none of that sickness bullshit. Just incinerate me. Boom, gone,
yep.
dust. I don't want to be like a volcano either. Where no, that's just a horrible way to go. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people that did.
exactly.
Yeah,
That
Pompeii,
would
man.
not be.
Okay. So let's move on to happier topics like Daredevil, Born Again,
Born
Episode
again.
7.
Yeah,
Well, episode 8. We got one more. It's episode 8.
Okay.
yeah.
Eight out of
We do
9.
have one more, but
Yeah.
we
Right.
definitely
We got
need.
one more.
Listen, we have to talk about. We definitely have to talk about the elephant in the room, because listen, I sat and watched that episode and was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, that was like, wait, what? You know, that ending was like, I needed answers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
it was a nice build up to that in a lot of ways.
yeah.
But we skip past the going to that. We do skip past one of the most important scenes to me in the entire series, and that's the moment of forgiveness for Veronica and Fisk when
Vanessa.
when he
That's
reveals to her that he's had Adam
Locked
chained up, locked up the entire time, and her response is to pick up a gun
gun and cap him.
and ice
Yeah.
at him right then and there as he's sitting there pleading for his life. That was cold, and then he just took the gun from her, and she's like, "Well, now that that's done," like,
Yep.
and then tells the doctor, like, "Yeah, we did. I don't think we'll be back to therapy. We did a lot of soul searching, and put a lot of our past behind us. I'm
Yep.
like, Veronica is cold,
Yep.
like a
She
winter's
is.
night in Antarctica. Veronica is cold.
Yep. And I think the other big thing about this episode
Mm,
is Matt spiraling
yeah,
because
Yeah.
he is he has this speech with Nikki McDuffie, his legal partner.
yeah,
He is has this fantastic speech about how they're supposed to serve the law, and all this is all this is happening. You know, Bullseye killing Foggy, Hector Ayala getting shot. He's innocent, then he gets capped anyway by the police, and on and on and on. And Matt ends it with, "We're not making a difference. We're just babysitting chaos."
and no truer words have been spoken.
Yeah.
And I think that that is going to be the key to the next season of this series. But then we have the main plot line, which is um, Fisk orders Bullseye to be moved into Gen Pop,
Which isn't he a
Yeah.
former cop?
former FBI agent.
FBI, yeah.
Yep. So, and in Gen Pop, Bullseye literally, he's he's in the infirmary to get checked out. He's
After
got
Matt
one.
slammed his head into the.
Yeah,
After
yeah. He
Matt
wanted.
slammed.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, he wanted to talk to Matt, and Matt actually goes to the prison, sit down and talk.
Yeah.
And Bullseye let it slip that he was paid to kill Foggy.
Yeah. Yep.
And Matt, you know, he Bullseye wants to get out of prison with that information or get a lighter sentence for cooperation, and Matt just gives him the "fuck you" head slam onto the metal desk,
Gives him three the hard way. One,
Yep.
two,
and then
uh.
walks out, brooding.
Un-
So Bullseye gets checked out at the infirmary. One guard, one doctor. He breaks off one of his incisors,
Loose tooth, yep.
and then he just spits it out right into the throat of the guard.
Oh, nasty ass scene.
Kills him right off there, and then starts slipping his bonds. Picks up the scalpels, unalives the doctor. Um,
In true bullseye fashion.
yeah, in true Bullseye faction, and then he walks out of the prison in the guard's uniform.
Yep.
Yep.
That was just,
Um,
yeah.
Yep.
On his way to
And
do the unthinkable.
yep. Meanwhile, there's stress between Matt and his girl
Yeah.
because she's agreeing that Fisk's task force was right, that they did the right thing, even though she's the one who killed Muse,
Yeah.
and she has no problem with giving the task force
The credit.
the win on that.
Yeah, that kind of did suck though.
Yeah, but she's saying that we need to keep these vigilantes in check. We need to have some, you know, sort of extrajudicial,
Which is
you know,
not surprising of somebody who was just attacked by a
right.
man who liked to wear a mask.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
like
I'm
I
not
don't understand why Matt doesn't understand. It's like your girlfriend's thought process is right in line with what she just went through.
right, but
Like,
because one, Matt is not a psychiatrist,
yeah,
and two, Matt's spiraling so hard he cannot see outside of his own tunnel vision.
yeah, true.
And the climax is um, Matt and the girlfriend Heather showing up at the inaugural black and white ball for the mayor of New York, which is the big to do for New York City
Yeah.
elites. Um, and Matt's under the impression that it was Fisk that paid for Bullseye to kill Foggy. But as they're dancing, first of all, Matt picks up Fisk um,
Talking.
blackmailing
Yeah.
swordsman.
Yes. Yes. I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was funny.
that was great. And then Fisk also does some a little bit of blackmail with uh, you know, rich white guy number blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Matt, he showed up late because he had something else to do. He had the Bullseye escape to investigate. He's trying to make it up to Heather, and she's pointing out how he's distant, how he's not paying any attention. He's not even paying attention to her right now.
Yep. He was fading no,
And
because
that,
he was listening to Kingpin.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. Um, Meanwhile, we have the scene between Daniel and BB, where Daniel's trying to make up, and he's now the new press secretary.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, because he got
For
he got a
Fisk.
promotion.
Yeah, so he's trying to mend fences with BB, and then BB looks over and sees the commissioner.
Mhm.
The commissioner who went up to Fisk and tried to bring Fisk out on the carpet about the extrajudiciality of the anti-vigilante task force,
Yeah.
and Fisk just brushes him off.
Yeah.
Commissioner sees Doyle, one of the anti-vigilantes. Uh, they're taking. Oh no! Someone came in to disrupt the black and white ball. No violence.
Yeah.
He was just an anarchist. Wanted to do like spray painting or protesting or whatever. Anti-vigilante task force takes dude. Oh no, he was trying to get some pictures.
Yeah.
Some
It was
secret
a
pictures,
reporter.
right.
Yeah.
It was a reporter, right? So they take him in the back in the kitchen, and then they start to do the business on him.
Tuning him up real good too.
Yeah, and the commissioner walks in, sees this, and basically says, "I'm going to bring you guys up on charges
Yeah.
on this." And ba 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 ba. Doyle just laughs and says, "Try it. Fiscal override you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That
So-
to me, that was like, he just pretty much was like, "Hey, I'm cooking you." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
do what the fuck I want. Yeah, and there's nothing you can do
Exactly.
about it.
but
Yeah.
but there's always pride that comes before the
Yep.
fall.
And we actually see that as Commissioner Gallo takes BB aside, talks to her a little bit in hushed tones, tells her that he has a stack of files on all the misconduct of every member of the anti-vigilante task force. And BB gives Gallo her private email,
Yeah.
the one where, for the low key,
Not for public eyes.
yeah, not for
Yeah.
public eyes. So Gallo's about to spill all that tea.
Yep. And it's gonna get good. And then it was just the way they set everything up so beautifully for this finale.
Yeah. Yep.
Is making me can't wait till Tuesday more.
Yep. Matt and Heather, as the dancing begins, Fisk takes Vanessa, they're dancing, they're happy. Matt and Heather take to the floor after a bit. Matt's still trying to be good, and at the same time, he's still hearing the Fisks,
Yeah.
Wilson and Vanessa plotting with each other while they're dancing.
Yep.
And so Matt brings his girlfriend up, and then says, mind if we cut in?" And they switch partners. And Heather is pissed.
And I was gonna say the doctor doesn't understand what the fuck's going on. She doesn't
Right.
know.
And
Yeah.
then Matt tells Vanessa that he figured it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't Wilson that paid for Foggy to be killed. It was Vanessa.
Yep.
And that's when Bullseye has made it to the rafters, dressed in NYPD, takes out one of the security snipers up there, takes aim, loads back the bolt.
You now see that he's aiming at Fisk.
Yeah, Matt hears the bolt, sees what's going on,
Sees what's going on.
well, yeah, sonars what's going
Yeah.
on.
He figured out what's going on.
Right, and
Yeah.
leaps in front of Fisk, taking the bullet
Yep.
for his arch enemy, takes it in the upper chest like a champ,
Yep.
and that's where the episode ends, with Matt lying bleeding on the floor, and everyone's in shock.
It was such a beautiful scene
Yeah,
in the sense of like it left you like what it was almost as, and you guys will remember this, it was almost as punctual as far as leaving you wanting more as Dynasty and Who Shot JR.
That
Okay,
was Dallas.
like that was a nationwide like phenomenon for a while.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
even better
that was
yet,
Dallas, sir.
yeah, or Dallas,
Dallas.
sorry. Or even better yet, The Simpsons and Who Shot Mr. Burns.
yeah.
Like it was a national thing, and like now I don't think there's anybody across this country that isn't sitting there going, okay, I want answers.
Yeah.
Why
We
did
all
he take that
were.
shot for him? Why
No.
did he,
Yeah. And here is, not that I haven't talked enough about this already, but I'm seeing this all as a setup for season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was telling Kev before we were streaming, I think this is setting up so that season 2 is going to be the Shadowland arc of Daredevil. Now, Shadowland was a story arc where Matt takes over the Hand. He becomes the leader of the Hand and turns them into his private ninja vigilante army.
That's what happened.
So that's what happens in the comics.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I'm seeing this, one, the spiraling and the loss of faith in the judicial system.
From Matt.
It's pushing Matt towards Frank's point of view, but he's never going to cross Frank's line. Two,
Okay.
this will bring back a lot of fan favorite characters. Stick, Elektra, Nobu. Because you know
Question: will it be Jennifer Garner's Elektra from the MCU?
No, Elodie Young.
Oh,
Yeah.
Young. Okay.
Elodie Young, bring her back. Yeah, so it'll bring back those characters because it's the feud between the Hand and the Chase that decimates the Hand's leadership to where they have to pick a new leader.
Right.
And they wisely go with, hey, let's pick this guy that's been kicking our ass for a couple of years now.
That would be a
Yeah, and
smart
they-
choice. Can't
they
beat him, join him,
basically-
right?
Yeah, and they basically blackmail Matt into becoming the leader. So, and three, also, rumor is that they're going to bring Iron Fist into all this in season 2 of Daredevil. Whether it's Finn Jones or whether it's somebody new, we don't know. But
Remember though, they can bring back Iron Fist without it being Finn Jones because remember,
yeah,
what's her
yeah.
name came back
It's
as Iron
Colleen-
Fist,
Colleen
or
Wing, yeah.
took over the Iron Fist title at
Right,
the end
which
of
I
at
think-
the end of the series.
which I'd be great with. I'd be just fine with. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Iron Fist has a problem with the Hand also.
Okay.
So that's all tying everything together for me for what I think season 2 is going to be.
Oh, so all right. No, I can see that. I can see all of that coming together, and would love to see all those faces back on a Marvel screen. Some revising their roles, some taking over new roles.
Yeah.
It would be amazing. All right, so we're gonna pause there, take our standard break, and then when we come back, we'll be talking. I believe. Did you have something for cheap for pop culture, Saint?
Yeah, but
Okay,
we
so
can come back and yeah.
Sorry.
we'll wrap it shop fire that
It's
before
okay.
we jump into wrestling, jump down SmackDown Alley, and get on with some WrestleMania talk.
Okay.
You're watching the Cheap Pop Podcast. I'm Double K. That's Rune Skyer. Over there is, or actually the other way. That's the Saint. That's Rune Skyer. I keep forgetting that it's flipped backwards. You're looking at me anyway.
Do we all look the same to you, sir?
Yes, yes. All old people look the same to me. Oh, you set yourself up for that one. You set yourself. They made it so easy. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see y'all after the commercial block. Peace.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Where Generation X meets Generation X, with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, it's how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down. These beats gon' pound, waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfo. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I've been real with this. Please don't judge me, I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
Hey, what's up, y'all out there in TV land or Twitch land or whatever we're doing today? My name is Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double. I am the host of the Cheap Pop Podcast and the Classroom, as well as your favorite music show, KD5P. I'm here to tell you about the Live 365 lineup that we have coming up starting on February 3rd, Monday, February 3rd. We'll open up Mondays through Fridays with Now versus Then, Deuce, classic episode from the Blog Talk Radio days. We follow that up with an FU Wrestling podcast from Spreaker, starring myself, Double K, and your boy Cole. We follow that up with, again, me, Double K's Classroom, old sports show I used to do, 30 minutes from 6:20 to 6:50. We follow that up with West Coast Bias, myself, O'Malley Duel, and Suave, bringing you sports talk from a few years back. Then we have Now versus Then. That's the centerpiece of our day at 9:35 a.m. with a classic episode of Now versus Then. And every Wednesday at 9:35, you'll get a new episode of Now versus Then, Deuce from Twitch. At 12:45, you'll hear an episode of KD5P, K-Double's Fifth Period music class that you can hear right here on Live 365 every Saturday night. You can hear a replay of it every Tuesday night at 12, or Tuesday afternoon at 12:45. You can also listen to at 3:20 the Cheap Pop Podcast, followed by NBT Deuce at 5:30. Great episodes. Probably the same episode from the morning. Lip Gloss and Mics has now moved to the 9:05 slot with a new episode of The Classroom on every Friday. And then we close out our night down and dirty, the Kings and Queens of Porn. That'll be every Monday through Friday right here on Live 365. Catch us at live365.com/First GenXers, or you can go to the Live 365 app, look for the First GenXers Radio Network, and that's where you'll find this. All this and more right here on Live 365. Peace.
To say Jaden Daniels has been fun to watch and getting to see him grow, because I think he is going to be a good quarterback. Yes. And so I'm happy that is one of the Monday Night Football games. That actually could be a decent game. Yeah. I think I care more about seeing that game, and not just because of him, but I care more about that one than I do the earlier game.
All right, and it's Double K back with you again, host of the Cheap Pop Podcast in the Classroom, also your favorite music show, KD5P, and I'm here to talk to you about the Saturday and Sunday lineup. Last video we did Monday through Friday. This week we're going to do Saturday and Sunday. All these shows will be airing on Saturday and Sunday concurrently till about mid-afternoon, and then we go into two different lineups. On Saturday, Sunday mornings at 12:30 a.m., you get a classic episode of Brick House 2.0. Followed up by Lovely Radio, which is back on the air with First GenXers. And we have Mr. Deacon at 5:15 a.m. Sam Brett Radio now moves up from the 10 a.m. slot to 7:25 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, and the 10 o'clock slot now goes to Ms. Optimism, back with us again after a short hiatus. We follow that up with another episode of Lovely Radio at 12:10, and then we get Sam Brett one more time from 2:45. You get about an hour and 15-minute episode on Sundays, and you get a full 2-hour episode on Saturdays. That episode will air right before the live episode of K Double's fifth period music class on Saturday nights from 5 to 8. Right here live on Live 365, where K Double brings you some of the hottest tunes from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And then we close out Saturday nights with the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast from 8:15 to 11. So on Sundays, you go from Sam Brett to 410 The Classroom. 45-minute episode of an old version of The Classroom that we had over on Spreaker. And we'll follow that up with Dirty Talk 101 at 5:30. And we close out with 740, the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast, another great edition of me and your boy Cole. And we close out at 10 p.m. with the Sidebar. So thank you for listening or seeing me here on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. And join us on any one of our platforms here at First GenXers and Double KK Double Network. You got 2KK2network.com, my website. You also have the twitch.tv/First GenXers, and you also have Live 365 where you can find us or you're listening to us here. And we also have for those podcast folks over on Spreaker, a place where you can find the Cheap Pop Podcast and the Classroom on podcast. And you can download it and everything. So that's it from me for this week. This time around, I'll be back again with a new schedule as of May 1st. But until then, y'all enjoy this lineup and stay up. Peace. Howdy, 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 hi. We are back.
Boy, you need to quit all this stuff.
Shit, what are you talking about? Beyonce can be country, so can I. Anyway,
That
You had
ain't
a-
country. That's Cab Calloway.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Hidey,
Yeah.
hidey, hidey, hidey.
Oh my God. You didn't
Terrible.
know that? Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
all right, Saint. You had a couple of things for us
Okay.
here on pop culture before we.
All
move on to
right.
raps
So, all right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are back in time of TV shows premiering, and we found out yesterday that BBC and, of course, Disney Plus premiered season 2 of Doctor Who.
With Shuki
And,
Gatwa.
Yeah, well, yep, Goody Gatwa, and we had a new
I thought it was-
companion.
I thought it was it's pronounced Shuki.
I think
I
it is
know
Shooty.
it's
Shooty. I think it is
it's
Shooty
terrible.
Gatwa.
Yeah, yeah.
Well-
It's terrible because it's African pronunciation, which I don't have a problem with at all. But the phonetics don't match.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, new companion right now, which is Belinda Chandra, which is
Okay.
played by Verada Sethu. And yeah, this is going to be something completely different. And we're going to find out what happens to Ruby Sunday along the way. But the show this season started off with a bang. And definitely, if you get the opportunity to watch it, just give it a whirl. It'll get you going. And then, of course, tonight, it is the season premiere. season 2 of The Last of Us. And I'm looking forward to that because I want to see on how much of the game is still represented with within the TV show. Um, the game, of course, season 1 was pretty much almost damn near word for word on how it was produced. So I'm actually glad to be checking that out. And then my final tidbit, finally, after all the gossip, after all the talk, we finally get the season 4 premiere of The Godfather of Harlem with Forrest Whitaker. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what's coming, he is getting ready to deal with the one and only Frank Morris. And of course, I'm not sorry, not Frank Morris. Oh my God, my head is my head is my head is somewhere else. The character that Denzel Washington played
Yeah.
in
I
American
can't think of his
Gangster.
name. It was Frank something, but
I
I
can't
can't think of his
yeah,
name.
okay. I couldn't think of it. My
Yeah.
sorry folks, I need to be shot on that. But um definitely
Sorry.
I'm looking forward to this season because it's been almost 2 years since the last season episode where they finished up the Malcolm X story arc. So we're definitely going to see where this goes, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing where it is. But that's pretty much the TV shows premiering this coming up, and I think there may be a couple of more within the next few weeks. But these are the
Andor's
ones that I'm excellent. Yeah, I forgot
Andor
about
season two,
Andor.
April
Andor
22nd.
season 2,
Yep.
and that's
I'm not
another
all
one
to the
that's
high
coming.
note and stuff like that. I just be watching me some season 7 of the Connors, and it's pretty damn good. That's my
Yeah,
recommendation.
isn't that about to? But that's about to end
Yeah,
also,
this is
isn't
the
it?
final season. It's the last 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're bringing it to a
this is
close.
yeah, there's a lot of other shows that are ending. Actually one of my favorites and is definitely has been SWAT. And I don't know, you guys not really into the action comic or action cop procedurals, but if you get a look at Netflix and compare it from the old school SWAT, because I mean you had the Samuel L. Jackson version, and then going further back, you had the version of Hondo, which was played by late actor Steve Forrest, and I think that only ran for 2 seasons on ABC. Tremendous difference, but this is the final season. They've really been trying to push to see if, because I think a lot of people really would like to see it on Netflix. Um, I think it could go a couple more seasons, but we'll just have to see, if that happens. But yeah, it's a couple of shows. It's quite a few shows that are about to have its end, but
Come to the
there's
close.
room
Come to
for
a long
more.
Mhm.
So
all
that's
right.
it, y'all.
So that will take us through Pop Culture Corner, around Know Your Role Boulevard, and down SmackDown Alley. Jesus up there will give me a thumbs up when it's good to come back. All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Anyway, all right. So we have WrestleMania upon us. It is WrestleMania
Yeah.
season, and this week's Raw and SmackDown led us to exactly those places, with there being great matches set up and lots of great fun. Let's start with Raw. A Raw that saw
I,
women, that saw
I'm
Bailey and what's up?
yeah. I'm still feeling sore from watching that, and we'll talk about that.
Oh, I'll say We had Bailey versus taking on Lyra Valkyria, being defeated by her for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. You had Penta taking on Dom Mysterio, and then you had the
Yeah.
War Raiders taking on the New Day in a World Tag Team Championship match. El Grande Americano was in action. And then you had appearances by Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Gunther, and Jey Uso.
Yep.
Uh,
All right. So,
go for it.
Women's Intercontinental Championship, Bailey versus my Raven Queen, Lyra Valkyria.
Yep.
Um,
Hell of a match.
it was a great match, really fantastic match. Um, and Bailey managed to, or Lyra managed to pin Bailey,
Yep. Get the roll up pin.
got it, and retains. Um, Bailey is really upset. Goes under the ropes, is holding on to the aprons. Lyra held out her hand for
Yeah.
a good match, and Bailey walked away from that. And then she's just standing on the apron. Then goes back under the ropes, goes back into the ring, shakes Bailey's hand. They hug, and they both lift up their fists. So
That was awesome.
that was really cool. It's nice to see, contenders that can compete against each other, but still have respect for whichever one wins.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's Bailey. Like that's
Yeah.
Bailey to a T. But we could see her turn. But I also think that there's a very good chance that they're going someplace different with those two.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, I believe it was. No, they ended up facing 3-on-3. The El
Yeah,
Grande Americano.
It was a 3-on-3, and also we got the announcement that the match we've all been waiting for. AJ Styles will battle Logan Paul at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and
Kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't Logan Paul going through it, but I've already had one of my desires semi-fulfilled. But I can't remember who it was, what match it was. But they threw the opponent into the Prime Energy drink display next to the announce table.
And just obliterated it, huh?
Yep.
We've been waiting for that.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, 6-man tag team LWO versus American Made and I'm sorry.
El Grande Americano.
Yep.
One of the most famous luchadors from the United States to ever
Yeah,
exist.
he's a wash. He's a
Yep.
wash.
I love it. I love it. All
Yep.
of this, you had Jey Uso confronting Gunther in what was, to me, not career defining, but a moment defining thing for Jey Uso.
So, yeah, but before American Made gets the win because Ivy handed El Grande Americano something which he slipped under the eye mask onto the
Yeah,
forehead.
and then
There's
began
no
headbutting
plate.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah. So he headbutted Dragon Lee and
Rey Mysterio,
then-
I believe.
yeah, and Rey Mysterio gets some. It's yeah,
Yeah.
so they win.
It wasn't one of the best storylines, but
Yeah.
but what I was talking about was Jey Uso confronting Gunther and having this moment. He
Yeah.
comes out, he's
Yep.
not yeeting. He's actually several points during the promo telling the crowd like, "Nah,
No,
cool,
no.
like stop that," and he basically tells Gunther that in the past, prior to this, he was afraid of Gunther. He was afraid of
Yeah.
how he was going to beat Gunther. He was afraid of what he was going to do to counter Gunther's pure size and skill.
Yeah.
And and then he begins to go into what we all love to see, which is more of a heartfelt side of the promo,
Yeah.
which is where he asks Gunther, like, "Hey, dude, do you talk to your mom?
Yeah.
Like, what do you and your mom talk about?
Talk
Like,
about.
y'all talk about like what's going on with the family, what's going on around the house,
Your
you know, how your
wife,
wife doing, how your kids doing." And then he
Yeah.
proceeds to talk about how him and his mom had to talk about how Jimmy was
Yeah.
doing.
You know what I had to talk about last week? Talk to my mom about
Uh, yeah,
her
he-
oldest boy, beaten, savage, and yeah. Jay ain't playing around. Even Gunther was kind of looking nervous. Like,
For those people
shit, I just cut the leash on the dog.
who don't understand what they just saw, it was the moment that we all needed from Jay.
Yeah.
Everybody kept saying that this feud was boring. This feud didn't seem to be going anywhere, and it was obvious that Jay wasn't going to win the belt at WrestleMania. After a promo and a moment like that, I can guarantee you there's quite a few people who believe that Jay was going to lose who are unsure of their predictions at this moment. Because Jay showed you something there that shows that he's ready for the moment, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens. The tag team championship match to me was a little underwhelming. Like, I think New Day won, but it was via disqualification as opposed to
Yeah, it was a DQ.
Yeah.
Because Xavier Woods slid a metal chair into the ring, and who was it? Ivar. Okay, Woods was trying to put another steel chair into the ring, but Ivar ripped it out and then hit him in the ribs with the chair to get back at really some pretty brutal chair stuff. Like Xavier, the first chair he unfolds and sets up in the middle of the ring, and then he puts Eric's head while the referee's being distracted. He put Eric's head inside the steel chair in there, and he was about to do a drop kick to snap close the chair in there when Eric gets saved. Yeah. So
it
Ivar,
led.
yeah.
Oh, so go on.
Yeah, so Ivar has had enough of that shit and tags Xavier Woods in the chest with the metal chair, and that's the DQ. But War Raiders retained.
Based on the disqualification of the War Raiders as
Yeah.
opposed to New Day. But I think it's leading to something else. I think we're going to see probably something on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah. And of course, New Day jump War Raiders after the bell's rung. They do a pretty good job of dismantling War Raiders outside the ring.
True. And it's
Okay.
like I said, I think it's going to lead to some kind of like street fight between the two, or Viking match or something at some point for the titles. Now, earlier in Raw, or actually on the WWE Facebook and YouTube, Adam Pearce had announced that we are getting a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental title at Mania between Penta, Dom Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Braun Breaker. Yeah, Braun, Penta, Dom, and Finn. I think that's the potential match of the night there. But the match itself between Penta and Dominic Mysterio was lukewarm, and I'm going to tell you why. It would have gotten higher marks if it wasn't for the match between Rey Fenix and Humberto on SmackDown. That was a true like mixture of the lucha style and the WWE style, like fluidly. Rey Fenix is picking up on the WWE style extremely well. Not that Penta isn't, but Rey Fenix is picking it up extremely well, and you're seeing it in his in-ring work. But Dom and Penta was an okay match.
Yep. Is really good. Decent lucha, because Dom isn't straight up. He mixes it up with the regular classic wrestling.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of respect for Dom's skills after watching that. But uh, Penta tags Dom with a sacrifice, and then follows up with Penta driver for the win. Then of course Carlito attacks Penta. Um, Carlito hits Penta with a backstabber, and then Carlito and Mysterio begin to double team Penta until Braun Breaker appears at the top of the ramp. Carlito gets out of the ring, sizes up Braun Breaker.
Oh yeah, go for
Braun starts running. Carlito starts running to match him. This was like watching a Vespa scooter charge a fully loaded Kenworth. I am not kidding, folks. And Braun Breaker basically covers half of the ramp distance in a vertical spear that hits Carlito full on. And I heard the ghost of the great Jim Ross saying, "My God, that man's been broken in half." Okay, this was so serious. Okay, I have no doubt that I Show Speed was having PTSD flashback twitches watching that. You got that. You got that. I know what that feels like. Twitch.
Yeah. No, my favorite part, like, let's get to the real fun part about that particular scenario and how it went down.
Carlito tweets out and said, "Muchas gracias for your kind thoughts. I am informing you that my funeral will be held on Wednesday. Respect for my family. Please allow us to grieve this time."
Yeah. Basically, he wrote his own eulogy. Like, he wrote his own eulogy on Twitter, on X, and that shit was hilarious.
It was
and
fantastic.
it's just a picture of him getting gored. And see, that's the thing about it. See, a lot of these young kids may not remember. There was this thing called the gore. It was done by a guy named Rhino. And Rhino was like a 280-pound slab of beef. And whereas Braun Breaker is, don't get me wrong, that man is some Kobe beef steak, like rock solid. Imagine Braun Breaker with a belly that was rock solid too, and you got Rhino.
Yeah.
And that man used to run through people. Gore, gore, gore.
That's all it was.
Yep.
That's all it was.
So seeing Carlito do that took me back to those days when we used to think, especially when you'd spear people through tables, like you thought people were dead. He would fold dead in half. He didn't think twice about it.
Yep.
And there's a difference between, and trust and believe you me, there is a major difference between a spear and a major difference between a gore. And trust, the delivery, it hits different. Because you get a spear, that's Roman Reigns. You know, they just lift you up just a little bit. But with a gore, that's force and then push back. I mean, there have been times that, you'd catch him in the corner, you'd catch him right in the middle, and then you'd be by the end of the goalpost by the end of the corner, and then you're done. And then you have all sorts of trouble. So yeah.
And so on the subject of risky maneuvers, it was announced that Kevin Owens is not going to be at WrestleMania because he's going to be undergoing neck surgery.
This evidently has been an issue for a while, according to Kevin Owens, like or is talking afterwards, and he's just now having surgery on it.
And I'm sure that Alabama Slamma at Royal Rumble didn't do him any favors.
Hey, he says it's been bothering him since even maybe he shouldn't have took that because it was bothering him since before.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
So
at the end of the day, we're gonna. I still think because they still haven't gotten an opponent for Randy Orton.
yeah.
I think that we'll see what happens. Kevin Owens may not wrestle, but I think he'll still be involved at WrestleMania.
Right.
No, but
Okay.
I'd like for Nick Aldis to be. I'd like for him to take on Nick Aldis, though. I know.
I'll put it to you like this: we're more likely to see Solo Sikoa versus Randy than we are Nick Aldis. I like the thought of Nick Aldis, but I don't think Nick Aldis does it. Like, there's a reason why he's wearing that suit and he's not wrestling for WWE right now. And yeah, it's a good medical reason, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Then
You never
Yeah.
know. Adam Pearce came back for a match to get his ass kicked by Roman Reigns. So
yeah. We got news that Raw after WrestleMania next week, AJ Styles is going to go against Karrion Kross.
no, that's tomorrow.
No, yeah, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow in Sacramento.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a week behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tomorrow, and Roman Reigns will appear. Yeah.
Yes, which I'm mad. Like, I'm thinking about going by myself. Thinking about just buying a ticket and going by myself.
Yeah. And
but-
then the extended promo.
Which one?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
with
Paul
Paul Heyman,
Heyman.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, we came out to Paul Heyman, and Paul wanted to make sure that everybody understood that he still loved his tribal chief, and he was still loyal to his tribal chief, but he was also loyal to his best friend. And
Right.
Somebody by the name of Seth Rollins had a little something to say about that.
Yeah.
And that turned into a Donnybrook, as JR would say, right? A slobber knocker.
Yeah.
Things got tense between Heyman and Rollins in the ring, as Rollins offered to take Paul Heyman out, so he didn't have to worry about who to be loyal to at WrestleMania. And Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman stood up to him. Keep your damn hands off me, in Vince McMahon style. And Seth went to go beat the snot out of the fat man from New York. And, of course, CM Punk, who Seth Rollins thought was not in the building, was all of a sudden in the building and
Because
came out.
that was the essence of Rollins' taunts.
Yeah.
Is that what? Who's been loyal to you? Who's returned that loyal that loyalty? CM Punk, he's not in the ring to defend you against me. And he points out all the times that Roman Reigns has left Paul Heyman hanging.
Yeah.
And that's when we get the Paul Heyman standing up to Seth Rollins, Seth starting to beat down, and then Punk's music hits and he's running down the ramp.
Now, this doesn't go as you would think, because Punk doesn't get over, save his best friend. He actually gets stomped out by Seth Rollins. And as CM Punk is being apologized to by Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman is in a very vulnerable position, Seth Rollins runs towards him to go, we assume is stomp Paul Heyman.
Amen. Yeah.
And as Heyman moves, Rollins drops his foot down, picks up the mic, and looks at Paul Heyman and says, "Now you owe me a favor."
Yeah.
And that's how Raw ends.
Yep.
Huh. It's gonna be an interesting show this week. This go home episode right before WrestleMania is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. That led us to SmackDown. And SmackDown this week was pretty good. We'll go over it pretty quickly and get to talking some of the key matches at WrestleMania. The highlights was Nick Aldis and Nick Aldis confronting Randy Orton, threatening Randy Orton, and then Solo Sikoa coming out and interrupting and getting into a fight with Randy Orton, to which LA Knight comes out. And then LA Knight beats them both down and proposes a match between Randy Orton and L.A. Knight, and
Now,
Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa.
now, what was funny to me about that whole segment, because when Randy started shooting at him, and when he made fun of Tomatonga, and he's like, and you the get, you know, the that that shit that he says, like he spazzed on him.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when
Randy
L.A.
got him
Knight,
with that one.
yeah, but when L.A. Knight showed up, oh yeah, it was balls to the wall, like, come get some,
Oh yeah.
come get some.
And so that led to setting up your main event, but that led to the gauntlet match, the women's gauntlets match, to see who's gonna face Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania, and on a the team of Bailey and Lyra Valkyria beat
Yes.
Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, Natalia and Maxine Dupri, Caden Carter and Katana Chance, B-Fab and Meechin, Alba Fire and Piper Nevin, otherwise known as the Her Service, right? The secret, instead of secret, it's Her Service.
Yeah.
And one, so it will be Bailey and Lyra Valkyria taking on Liv Morgan and whatchamacallit.
Championships.
Yeah, I kind of have issue with using your Intercontinental Champion that way. She should kind of be in a one-on-one match, but I understand. I think I understand what Tripp is doing, but I like it. I like my girl being on the WrestleMania card anywhere. With Bailey too, yeah, gotta love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was now I did have interest, especially the match between Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green. What
Yeah.
the hell was that?
Eh,
Yeah, your
Yeah.
silence is, yeah.
well,
Your
yeah, I
silence
think
speaks
I think
volumes for
that
that.
sometimes botches happen, and I think this was definitely like one of the truest definitions of a botch. Like, I don't think that match was supposed to end like that, but when you're on live TV,
Yeah.
once it happens, it's not like you can stop and reshoot. It is what it is. You know, once he counts to that 10, it's over.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was an interesting match.
Okay.
But we skipped over Ray Phoenix and Berto, which we talked about a little bit earlier. When his second match has an amazing match with Berto. The main interesting thing that came out of this match was Santos asking Berto to shake Ray Phoenix's hand, and Berto refusing. But Ray Phoenix still gives like a little pep talk to not Ray Phoenix, but Santos Escobar still gives a little pep talk to Ray Phoenix and shakes his hand and gives him credit where credit's due for beating Berto. I think we may be seeing a split of El Delgado Le Fantasma. Like, I think
You
we
think
may
so?
see Berto. Yeah, I think we may be seeing Berto and Angel go their own way with the way of everything's going on with Santos Escobar. Like, I don't think there's really, with no Electra Lopez, I don't know if there's really a reason to keep the group together. So she was released a while
Interesting.
ago. So, real quick
Again,
side note before we move on to the next SmackDown match. For those of you who don't know, just dropping this knowledge here, former WWE wrestler Rusev, known as Miro in AEW, has re-signed with the company. There's been no announcement as to when he will be debuting, and there's been no announcement of Lana signing. But he was seen at WWE headquarters, and it was confirmed later that, yes, he's re-signed with the company and will be coming back at some point in the future.
Rusev Day.
Hey, you can only get back to Rusev Day if you bring back Aiden English. You don't bring back
that's
Aiden
true.
English, you can't have Rusev Day. Like, no Rusev Day. Next up, you had Tiffany Stratton taking on Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, that was quite the switch up, change around, and it kept kind of going back and forth, but you know, she pulled it off, but
Yep.
it was what came afterwards I want to talk about.
Of course, Charlotte attacks Tiffy. Charlotte cannot have an opponent at WrestleMania without attacking her from behind. Like it's a prerequisite to being an opponent of Charlotte. Oh, I got to get beat up. I got to get my ass beat from behind by Charlotte. Okay, fine. It's like a prerequisite to being in a match with Charlotte.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
She
That
came
was
down.
that
Yeah,
was that was a little fancy, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
we have to take it. We definitely have to take what we can get. Yeah, I was like, yeah, but
It was a great segment. It leads into WrestleMania. I can't wait to see what they do with it this week. For those of you who don't know, I'll explain to you real quick. Back on the show, the Raw Impact Unleashed, we had what was called a 70-20 rule. Okay, and it's based on percentages of matches that we've seen take place. And between me and Cole was a combined like 60 years of watching wrestling, 60 plus years.
right.
70-20 rule is this. About 70% of the time, if you take the ass whipping on the go home show, you're going to get the win at the pay per view. Okay? 20% of the time, if you take the ass whipping on the go home show, you lose again at the pay per view. So 70-20 rule. So if you really want to predict with fairly good accuracy who's going to win most matches, you watch the two go home episodes and see how those feuds play out in the go home episodes.
Yeah,
And that'll tell you who's going to get the win. Very rarely, like I said, 70% of the time, it's right. If you're taking ass whipping, you're going to get the win. The other one, I forget what the other one was. I would explain it, but I'd have to talk to Cole again. But we had a 90-10 one too. That like 90% of the time, if this happened to you at the go home show, you got the win at the pay per view. But yeah, so that
yeah,
was.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. These two episodes of this episode of Raw tomorrow and SmackDown on Friday and this upcoming Friday are huge. Are extremely huge. All right. So last thing we can kind of tap into at SmackDown is that Cody did give a promo in front of a bunch of old designs of the WWE belt, of the WWE Championship belt, including Cena's spinner.
Yeah, the spinner.
Yeah.
That to me was a little funny when he did that little spin and then he
Yeah.
started talking his shit. That was
I don't know.
that was worth it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good, like, I think Cena's supposed to be on this upcoming week's SmackDown on the final episode before WrestleMania. So, but like Roman Reigns is supposed to be at the Raw before Mania. It is odd to me that they're in Sacramento of all places the week before they got to be in Vegas for Mania. So
Yeah, that's kind of no, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised.
yeah.
I'm not surprised because what are they gonna do? Where are they gonna do? Or well, I mean, they're gonna do Raw. I'm pretty sure they're
They
gonna
could
do
have done
Raw
Raw from
back in
Bakersfield.
Vegas.
They could have done Raw from
Yeah.
Bakersfield and been that much closer to SmackDown
Vegas, yeah,
in Vegas.
yeah.
But they chose Sacramento. It's not a bad thing. Like I like the fact that it's up here, but that's just a weird spot to me. Like San Jose would have made more sense than Sacramento to me.
Hey, can't get mad though.
Yep.
At least
well,
you're there.
My co-host of Cheap Pop, my former co-host Alpha, will actually be there live. He bought his tickets like 2 months ago. And I believe The Rock will even supposed to be there tomorrow. Maybe. No, that's Friday. I think. I don't know. We got to hear from The Rock at some point. We'll see. I don't even think he's coming out with Cena at WrestleMania. All right. So that was SmackDown. So let's get to, in this last about 10 minutes of this segment, let's get to the WrestleMania card itself, which has pretty much been solidified. And we'll just kind of jump through to some of the key matches. We have, there we go. Night one is looking to open potentially with, or not open, but one of the major matches will be Stratton versus Flair. That's the one Saints looking forward to.
Stratton.
Yeah.
I'm Stratton all day for that
So,
one.
uh,
It's
so
tippy time. Let's go.
he wants his girl there. Very few have defeated Charlotte at WrestleMania, but Tiffany would be one of the deserving. You have you have Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship, which should be a
Yeet.
great match. So that one will be nice and great to watch. What else? Jade Cargill will be taking on Naomi. This new Naomi is kind of interesting, but I don't know if I like her. We'll see.
Yeah, now that one we'll have to see because now Naomi is in heel territory and she hasn't been there in quite a while, so we're gonna see how this one goes. We'll see how this one goes.
For sure. You've got the War Raiders taking on the New Day again in a tag team match for the World Tag Team Championships. So the match that we saw on Monday was now moved to WrestleMania's night one.
Yeah.
You got L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking on the Samoan Werewolf. Mr.
Absolutely.
Jacob Fatu. Can't buck with him.
Yeah.
You got the greatest luchador ever in WWE taking on Rey Mysterio. No. Rey Mysterio taking on El Grande Americano, otherwise known as Chad Gable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
We're not discussing that.
And then to close the night on night one, we will most likely see Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman taking on Seth Rollins. You know, ChatGPT made a prediction a while back about that match that said Seth Rollins wins the match and walks out with Paul Heyman. And after what I saw on Monday, I'm scared ChatGPT may be right. I'm genuinely scared ChatGPT may be right. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Night two, we'll have the triple threat match between Io, Bianca, and Rhea
That'll be interesting.
for the Women's World Championship, which I'm here for. We'll see Dave's favorite, which will most likely be Dave's favorite match of AJ Styles potentially beating the snot out of Logan Paul.
Please.
We'll see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defend their Women's World Championship against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
Right.
Right. Then we'll see Braun Breaker take on Penta, who's taking on Finn Balor, who's taking on Dominic Mysterio in a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
Then we will have Damian Priest taking on Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight,
A Sin City street fight.
which will be a reason for two grown-ass men to beat the living snot out of each other. And we
Yeah,
get to
just
watch.
fight on top of the stratosphere. That'll be cool.
We'll see. All right, and then you got the main event of night two, which will be Cody Rhodes taking on John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Okay. I don't even want to try to attempt to call. I just want to call it a good match because you have the biggest baby face ever on the planet just turned heel. And then you have the American Nightmare. You know, he's making all these speeches, but I kind of want Cena to win for some reason.
I I think.
Yeah, I kind of want Cena to go out with a bang. You know,
Well,
let him
remember,
have it for let him have it for a couple of months.
Cena talks about leaving the WWE. You have an entire storyline that you can run if he wins the belt at WrestleMania between now and the end of the year. Cena's not finished till the end of the year. So you have multiple storylines that you can run between now and the end of the year that end up with him not walking away from the thing with the belt.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
because remember the last time we saw a wrestler do this, braggadociously claimed that they were going to be leaving the company with the title. They actually did it. That was CM Punk and John Cena at Money in the Bank in Chicago. Punk said, "I'm going to win. I'm going to walk out." The only thing that I called from that match is I said, if CM Punk wins that match, it's because he signed a new contract. And he signed, the ink was still fresh on the contract when he walked out for that match. He signed a new 5-year deal right before, or no, I think it was 3-year deal, right before he walked out for that match. So I knew when he won, okay, I was like, CM Punk isn't going anywhere. He's going to disappear for a few weeks and make it look like he left the company with the belt, but then he's going to make his comeback. So we could see the same thing happen with John Cena. We can see the same thing happen with John Cena. And I'll be honest with you, if we do, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at all.
I wouldn't either. He deserves it. He's had his day
Oh,
in the sun. You know what I mean?
okay.
And John Cena's just been there. I just,
He
you
deserves
know, let's
Okay.
see what he deserves.
how's this for a swerve? Okay. Um, going to WrestleMania, John Cena is in the ring first. Cody Rhodes' music hits. He comes out, and he's wearing the WWE spinner belt. And that's the one that Cena wins, and that's the belt that Cena takes home with him.
I'll say it like this. I could see it going down like that, and it would make sense. But the minute I saw that spinner belt around Cody's waist, I would know Cody's losing.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah,
my
yeah,
surefire sign
yeah,
that Cody
yeah,
was losing.
yeah. Because
Or
if he wears that spinner belt, John Cena gonna be like, wait, what the fuck?
or
That'll be a
or
what the fuck moment right there.
yeah, or Cody comes out regular. Sometime during the match, somebody secretly swaps the belts, so that the spinner belt is what's up on there,
Yeah.
and nobody's noticing what happened, and then they have to go to replay to see who did it.
I think it would be interesting. Definitely
There's
interesting.
there's definitely some interesting
Yeah, ways
variants.
that they can go with it. We got two. We got a Raw, a SmackDown, and then a whole pay-per-view to go. A whole week of wrestling to go to find out
Yep.
what we gonna get. What we gonna get. I know I'm looking forward to it.
I'm with that.
If you guys got any predictions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section about who you think is gonna win what big match. But right now, we're gonna go on ahead and move forward and move into this last segment. All right. All right. So, Dave, I'll let you go first. Pop culture. You had some gaming stuff for us there, Saint. Go for it.
All right, basically these are just pretty much reviews and games that I'm actually going to be streaming for the coming week. I just want to drop in on the game Tetris Forever. There are several different types of Tetrises, past or whatever, because I mean that's a game that will never die, as far as I'm concerned. That's a game that will never ever die. Tetris, because and
Always been
every
played.
single generation has it. But what's special about this Tetris Forever is a Tetris called Time Warp. And what it does is that you have a falling piece, and it flashes which each of the Tetrises that throws back. So when it comes to connect, it throws you back to either 1984, 1996, or possibly 2000. And it take 90 seconds to play that other Tetris and to get some scores and to see how many lines it falls. And then you go back to the present and it gets into the game. I mean, you really get into the game. And I've actually gotten a kick out of it. So
Nice.
that's a new one. And then of course I have Epic Mickey Remastered or Mickey Rebrushed. This is a game that was I believe was on the PlayStation 2, old school Mickey Mouse game, platformer with a paintbrush. Um, it's a it's a little different. It's really updated, special type of levels and so forth. So you really get the gist of it. And with Disney games and so forth, I've never really had any disappointments. I think the only disappointing game that I've ever played was The Lion King. And trust and believe you me, that was the hardest fucking game Disney ever put out. I kid you not. But other than that, just the usual standard fare for this week, and that's it. So
All right.
take it away. Take it
Mr.
away,
J.
Wounds Crier. Or
Okay, well, my only video game news article is that there is yet another version of Civilization 7
Really?
that just dropped. And I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but it's called Civilization 7 VR, and you basically get to play Civilization 7 in MetaQuest.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I don't know about
It's like,
I don't know about that.
yeah,
That's kind of like some god complex type of shit. I don't know.
yeah,
That's kind of like playing VR and Populous. You know what I'm saying? Like over
yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking earth. I don't know about that.
Now,
That's risky.
now, Dungeon Keeper in VR. Because yes, you are the evil god with
Stick
that.
yourself, Dave. Stick yourself, dude. Stick yourself, man.
Oh, come
Go
on.
ahead, just stick yourself, dude.
You telling me you never use the boulder traps to play imp volleyball
Dude,
or
stick
imp
yourself, man.
dodgeball?
Yeah, stick yourself, dude.
Oh man, I'm good.
Dude,
I'm
that is a game that was one of the banes of my existence. Oh my god.
for a long time. I tell you,
It's on
I'm
good
going.
old game. It's on good old games.
No, that's that no that's that old school abandonware, man. Throw it
Yeah,
up
that's
on there, dude.
yeah. No, I think actually might be no. It's not an abandonware. Any of those sites. But I mean, good old games. $5.
Well, hey, not bad.
$5 to get your keep your imp hand strong.
Keep your imp hand strong, huh? Dave, you're killing me.
Oh Jesus.
You got anything else
And
for us?
that's my culturally relevant jokes for today.
All right. So there is one thing I wanted to throw in there, Dave, before you move on to the next thing. Something that I just figured out. You can call me late to the party all you want, because I am late to the party when it comes to survival horror. I'm always late to the party because I don't really play that. So it was recently revealed to me after looking up. I was talking about the premise of a movie that's coming out called Until Dawn. And I was talking about the premise of the movie, and I was just like, yeah, I don't understand it. Like, does the whole group have to make it till morning in order for somebody to win, or is that one person just win, or what? And like we were discussing it, so of course, being the Google generation, we Google it and we look it up and come across Wikipedia talking about this 2015 game called Until Dawn,
And I
and it
played
was a
that.
video game. And then
Yeah.
come to find out after switching over to the movies, whatchamacallit, that the movie is based on the game itself.
Yep.
Okay, let me throw you on this one. Okay. Um the story of course is going to be different because I mean the game Until
It's not the same
Dawn-
characters, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not the
well,
same
no,
characters from that.
well, the game Until Dawn is actually a butterfly effect. So the shit that you do in that game changes dramatically different. And if you do some fuck shit in this game, believe you me, you will pay the consequences of it. I'm telling you, it's a butterfly. Like every decision that you make in the game, you know, is
has an effect.
yeah, has an effect. The game is actually with I forgot the name of the guy from Agent Dalton from Agents of Shield.
Okay.
The guy, the one that betrayed everybody.
Oh, Grant Ward.
Yeah, Grant Ward. Yeah,
Yeah,
Agent
okay.
Ward. And then of course the main featured cast member is Rami Malek.
Rami.
And
My boy,
yeah,
Mr.
as a
Robot.
matter of fact, I do believe Kevin, you might want to check it out because it is on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Right on. Right on. I
But
try to
it's-
download the free games all the time when they come up. Big
Yeah.
time.
it's
all right.
it's really a good game though.
All right. So I'll let Dave wrap up his stories from the video game world.
That's really all I got for video games. Yeah. So
All right. So
Let's
then that'll
move on.
take us to our closed section of where can we find you next? The weekly expedition of finding. Where can we find Rune Scryer, Saint, and Double K next? Saint, why don't you kick us off, bro? What's coming up next for you?
All right, so I'm going to be doing a visual audio cast of NVT Deuce tonight. It's going to be something a little different, but I'm actually going to be playing some of the music. Like it's going to be different,
Okay.
and it'll be something where you can really kick back and get the gist of what our show used to be on an audio stage, but
Okay.
trust and believe you me, the whole vibe is different.
This whole
So,
vibe
yeah.
is different. All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
All right, Rune Scryer, where can we find you next, sir?
all right. Well, supposedly I will be on tonight, on night shift, doing more Starfield. Not sure what's going to happen after the technical debacle that was last night's attempted stream of Indiana Jones.
It happens to the best of us, sir. It happens to the
yeah.
best of us.
So we will
It
see.
does.
Hopefully it'll work better tonight. So midnight to Sleep Pacific, it's gonna be Starfield.
He says Sleep
Sleep
Pacific. I
Pacific,
like that
yep.
shit.
All right, and then as for me, you can catch me in about hour and 50 minutes with O'Malley as we discuss the Warriors' loss today. Unfortunately, it drops into the play-in, and we discuss the NBA playoffs as well as the men's Final Four game and Houston winning the championship, and and much more tonight on the Classroom. And then as far as streaming to Tuesday, I'll be back on Tuesday with football. What's up,
Yeah.
Dave?
I actually did just think of another video game thing, more of an observation than anything.
Okay.
So as you know, Mondays I'm doing Insomnia Games Spider-Man
Mhm.
And I was just wondering, with the engine and the playstyle like that, why don't we have a Daredevil video game? All that there is for Daredevil is the Game Boy Advance tie-in to the Ben Affleck movie,
Yeah.
and it's a side scroller.
I'm pretty sure we're probably heading in that direction.
That
With
would
the way
be
Marvel
awesome.
is optimizing all the IPs, I'm pretty sure we're headed
Yeah.
in that direction.
Yeah, I mean the way that you've got the swinging going on in Spider-Man, the danger sense, everything. It's a perfect engine for a Daredevil game. I'm just saying.
100%. Right there with you. And if they make it happen, give him his motherfucking movie check.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, I'll say, we got the proof right here on digital form that he was the first one to think of it. Let's make it happen. Unless it's already in the works, in which I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, we'll close on that note and bid you guys adieu. Like I said, we'll be back, check back in for the final show of broadcasts, or actually the second to last show now. What is normally the final show in the classroom, but will now be the second to last show with the new edition of Now versus Then after us on this here broadcast Sundays. It's been a pleasure entertaining y'all.
Okay. Rating out.
All right.
Second.